Minecraft has been ported to dozens of systems during its run as the best-selling game of all time, like mobile, PlayStation, Xbox, etc. And most of these versions are kept pretty up to date with each other. In fact, all of those versions that I just mentioned are updated at the exact same time, keeping complete parity with each other. But then, there's the forgotten versions. Fire TV, Wii U, Gear VR, and a few others have all been released and completely abandoned by Microsoft. Microsoft also attempted to abandon Minecraft for new Nintendo 3DS, a pretty unpopular and disregarded version. But while Microsoft might have tried to abandon it, the community absolutely has not. And today I'll be showing you how to install the Modernization Megapack. This mod pack brings major leaps into feature parity with Java and Bedrock Edition, all onto your favorite clamshell. Let's get started. Now before we install the mod, what does it even do? Like I just mentioned, the primary purpose here is to get as close to feature parity as possible with both Bedrock and Java Edition. This mod pack adds in brand new features and additions like achievements, textures from 1.14 and 1.20, aquatic swimming, new item names, UI elements, panoramas, sound effects, structures, mobs, and even more. It essentially just makes the 3DS edition much more playable and up to par with modern releases. Performing these steps here also builds the groundwork for installing other mods and custom maps for Minecraft 3DS as well, like Skyblock, Droppers, the Farlands, and even X-ray shaders. The first thing you'll need to have is a modded 3DS with Luma custom firmware installed. If you don't have this, or you have an older custom firmware installed, you can head to 3ds.guide to learn how to install. I recommend staying away from video guides if you can, as the scene moves very quickly and video guides cannot be updated with new information. If you do need a visual guide, which yeah, I get you, I would recommend pulling up both 3ds.guide and whatever video you pick up side by side with each other just to make sure that the video is accurate. On your 3DS, you'll also need to make sure that Luma 3DS is configured to allow game patches. You can do this by powering off your system, then powering it back on while holding select. Navigate to this option that says Enable Game Patches in the Luma 3DS config menu and press A to enable it. Then just press Start to reboot your system. If the Luma 3DS configuration doesn't appear when you hold down select and power on your system, try entering it again and making sure your 3DS is completely shut down, not just in sleep mode. If it still doesn't appear, you may need to head to 3ds.guide to mod your system or upgrade your custom firmware. If the game patch option itself doesn't appear, you'll want to make sure that Luma 3DS is fully up to date, which you can do at 3ds.guide. You'll need a new 3DS model to perform this mod, considering Minecraft for 3DS only works on the new 3DS. And you'll also need a copy of Minecraft 3DS Edition installed onto your system. The final step of preparation here is simply knowing which region your game is from. If you acquired the game legitimately via the eShop or through a physical copy, it'll likely just be from the region you bought it in. If you bought an international physical copy, you can check the region directly on the cartridge itself. If you have an alternatively obtained copy, you can open up FBI, navigate to titles, and hover over the Minecraft listing to view what region it is. If you have a lot of games installed, FBI can take a while to load them all, so you might need to wait for it to appear for a bit. Take a note of what region it is, as you'll need it to install the correct patches. This first method here can be a bit slower, but it doesn't need a computer at all and only needs your 3DS to be connected to the internet and modded. If you'd prefer a faster experience, or you can't connect your 3DS to a network for whatever reason, skip to this timestamp here for method 2. First, make sure you've got Universal Updater installed. If you recently modded your system with 3ds.guide, and I'm talking within like the last 4 years, you should already have it installed. Otherwise, you can head to their GitHub and scan this QR code with FBI to install it to your system. You can also install it via the CIA file, but if you're taking out your SD card anyway to put that on there, you may as well use the next method. If you haven't used the app in a while, open it up and make sure there aren't any updates. If there are, run them and then relaunch the updater. In the app, go to the settings in the bottom left of the screen and navigate to select Unistore. Once you're here, tap the plus icon at the bottom of the screen and select Minecraft 3DS Community Unistore. After it takes you back to the main screen, tap the eye icon in the top left and press A on the Modernization Megapack. There's other mods here too that you can install, but this is what we want to focus on today. Once you select the pack, it'll give you 3 options for your region. Select the region of game you have and wait for it to install. This will take a while. It's much slower than installing it via a computer, even if you do have a fast internet connection, considering that the 3DS's network capabilities and file extraction speeds are not great. Once the install finishes, exit out of Universal Updater and open up the game. If you see the modern Mojang Studios logo and not the older black and white one, you've successfully installed the pack. If it's still the old one, you might not have enabled game patching or correctly installed the mod. Give the tutorial another try and then check out the mod GitHub for troubleshooting if it still doesn't work. If you decide that you don't want the pack anymore, simply head back to the Minecraft 3DS Community Unistore and select Customization Removal. Then select the Remove All Content option for your region. To update the pack, simply perform that removal and reinstall it. If you want to see what else I've got to say, you can skip to this timestamp here to move past the next installation method. If you're looking for a faster overall install, or you can't can't get your 3DS on the network for whatever reason, you can also install the Modernization Megapack directly to your SD card. Alongside the prerequisites for the universal updater method, you'll also need a computer, or just a modern device that can access an external storage device, a micro SD card reader, or an SD card reader and an adapter, and a screwdriver to open the backplate of your console to get to the SD card, if you don't have a new 2DS XL. If you've just modded your system, you should still have all of those on hand. If you don't have a screwdriver with you, you can access the file system over FTP and mod the game that way, but if you're using a network for that, you could also just use Universal Updater. You can use the homebrew app FTPD for this, along with any other FTP client on your computer. If you're doing it this way, simply copy and make modifications using your FTP client instead of where I use an SD card. First, let's download the mod pack. Head to the GitHub page for the mod, link just below the like button, which you should hit by the way. Click on releases and download the latest version for your region. Extract the zip file and you should see a folder that begins with 0004. Next, power off your 3DS and put the SD card into your computer. Once it's mounted, open the SD card in your file explorer and head to the Luma directory, then titles. If the titles directory doesn't exist, you can just make it now. Drag the folder that you just downloaded into the titles folder and you should be all done. Eject your SD card and put it back into your 3DS. Pair on the system and open up Minecraft. If you see the modern red Mojang Studios logo and not the old black and white one, you've done it correctly. If it's still the old one, you may not have enabled game patching or correctly installed the mod. Give the tutorial another try and check out the mod GitHub for troubleshooting if you still need help. If you decide that you don't want the pack anymore, simply delete that folder from the titles directory. If you want to update the pack, delete that folder and insert the new one straight in. If you're having some issues, these solutions here might help. Personally, I found that as soon as I installed the mod, the game just crashed. If something like this happens to you or another crash occurs that is because of the mod, head into your titles folder through a computer, through an FTP server, or through a homebrew file explorer on the device itself, navigate to the 0004 folder that exists for the mod, and delete code.bps. This fixed it for me and hopefully should for you as well. If you use method 1 here, you might want to check out the tutorial for method 2 to find out how to get to those files. If the mod doesn't load at all, you might want to double check that you've enabled game patching correctly in Luma 3DS. Head back to the preparation section of this video to try that out. If neither of those troubleshooting solutions solve your issue, check out the mod's GitHub and their Discord server to get some more advice. And that's it. Now you've gotten much closer to feature parity compared to Java and Bedrock than Microsoft would ever think you could, all contained entirely within your 3DS. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that button, and if you really liked it, maybe even subscribe. I am this close to hitting 10K, so if you could help me out, that would be greatly appreciated. You can follow me on socials as well, on Instagram, Blue Sky, and everything else with the links on screen and in the description below, and you can check out the community Discord with that same link on screen to chat with me, get behind the scenes content, and even more. If you want a real throwback, you can click over here for the last video I made dedicated to the 3DS. That was back in 2021 on turning it into a complete media consumption device. Just do keep in mind I've gotten much better at presenting and audio and editing and everything else since then. Or you could click over here to check out whatever YouTube thinks you'll like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.